Shaheed Luqman.
And this is Live in Luqman Nation on Coffee, Current Events, and Politics. And it is Monday in Washington, D.C. We are in Washington, D.C., but our guest is in New Jersey. And as you can see, our guest is Lisa Durden, who is the candidate for the New Jersey Green Party Lieutenant Governor office. You are the running mate of Seth Caperdale, who we talked to. When did we talk to Seth? Wednesday. Had a great conversation with Seth, and we said we really would love to talk to Lisa, and he said sure. So here we are today. Election day is tomorrow. We are excited about whatever you have to tell us about, not just New Jersey Green Party actions, the election tomorrow, but about Lisa Durden. So introduce yourself to Luqman Nation.
Luqman Nation? Oh, I want to put this on Facebook. Well, I've been around, some people don't know me from my other life, but I've been here for a long time. I've been using my voice for activism for many, many years. So as I guess what you would call a media professional. So for years, I've been a TV personality, pop culture commentator, political commentator, and my specialty and expertise is in the area of what would you call it? I guess you would call it a subject matter expert. So I talk about many subjects. And so some of the subjects are fun, like Kim Kardashian's ass. And that don't mean it's not going to cure cancer. And reboots of TV shows that may or may not make it, and movie premieres. So I do discuss just fun issues, fashion, and those things. But the thing that I've been, for some reason, known the most for, infamous for, is when I'm on Fox speaking out for the rights of Black and brown people, Black Lives Matter, and issues around race or matters of race. And unfortunately, when I'm on those shows, you have a lot of people who are racists that watch Fox. The majority of the people in America are not racist, thank goodness, but the Fox audience tends to be racist. So I usually leave those shows getting, beat up by trolls and, whatever. So that's kind of what I've done. In addition to that, because I'm a voice around social justice, I've also expanded my career as a media professional in the areas of creating content, or what they call producing content. So I produce many shows, like mostly documentaries, but some narratives. So documentaries like Soul Food Junkies. If you're addicted to soul food, watch the show.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a documentary by Byron Hurt, the director. I produced a documentary, docu-series called Brick City when Cory Booker was here. It was a series.
Yeah. Oh, you did that?
I was one of the producers, and it was on the Sundance Channel. And so Brick City was on the Sundance Channel. Soul Food Junkies was on TV One and PBS, and I have a documentary that is not out yet. It'll be on PBS called The Newark Project. It's about education reform in Newark. I was the associate producer on that. And I have a feature film called Title VII. I was the co-producer on Title VII, which is about no discrimination in the workplace. But the twist is when it's your own race. So about same race discrimination. So these are all, for some reason, I end up, gravitating toward subjects that I produce that have a lot to do with social justice. So that's kind of the breadth of what I do. But for those who have been under a rock, my recent injury came from being fired by Essex County College because I was a professor there. Not a full-time job, but most media folks teach. Spike Lee is a professor. And
that's right.
He's a professor. So many of us, I don't know why he does it. He doesn't need the money. But I guess he just likes the title. So as a professor, I taught. I was taught my expertise, which was mass communication and popular culture. And I also taught effective speech. And so I'm guessing that because I was on the Tucker Carlson show, tearing him up and standing up for the rights of Black and brown folks to assemble in an intentional safe space, which is something that something that Black folks created. White people have been doing it.
That's right. That's right.
Gays have been doing it. The women's movement have been doing it. People assemble in intentional safe spaces all the time so that interlopers won't come in there and thwart their goals. So this was not a public meeting that Black Lives Matter had, or a public march. It was in a private place, and they were having a party, and they were celebrating us that day. So I guess some people couldn't take it, and I guess the college chose not to stand behind my right to free speech, and they fired me.
Wow.
And
that's how Seth Copperdale heard about me. He didn't hear about me from the appearance.
Okay.
The firing is what made me go viral because I'm a media person, so everybody in the media knows who I am.
Right.
So
Right.
I've been on their shows. So when you fire Lisa Durden, they want to know Lisa Durden got fired. I was on, TV1 with Roland Martin, WBLS. I've been on all the shows asking why I got fired or what happened and what do why do I think this happened. So this was pretty much a media disaster for them. But if it worked for that, I guess I would be ready for lieutenant governor because the Green Party stands their overarching mission. I mean, they talk about like green energy too.
Right.
The overarching mission is social justice, and when you think about green energy, that is a social justice because when you're talking about in the environment, most of the areas where environments are terrible are people who live in black and brown folks who live in areas like Newark and Chicago and Atlanta, places where black and brown folks are poor.
And I got to say, Miss Durden, too, I'm honored really to talk to you because I'm also, well, I am because, I mean, I'm from New Jersey myself. And
I didn't know.
Yeah, and I lived in Newark. And I was just telling my wife when she mentioned your name, and she said, we're going to have Lisa Durden on here. And I said, I remember when, I'm from Camden originally, but I said, I remember moving to Newark, and I used to catch your show all the time. I was like, yes, and I never thought that I would be sitting here talking to you. So
you weren't gonna tell me that she's your secret girlfriend too?
Well, she was my secret crush for a long time. For a long time, I can admit that now.
Well, don't worry, girl. I'm married to Oprah. I'm not what you mean, girl.
That's okay.
He seems like a nice guy.
That's okay. I'm secretly married to Ibram to Dr. Ibram Kendi. Yeah. He doesn't know he's my he doesn't know he's my secret husband either. So
you're jumping ship.
So Lisa, you were born and raised in Newark.
Yes.
Right. So as far as your activism and all of your media involvement and everything, I guess you were always connected to politics. But what really attracted you to Seth Caperdale, right?
And the Green Party,
right?
Well, actually, to back up a little bit, I really don't like politics.
Okay.
I actually hate politics. I don't like politics. I don't like politicians. I've never liked any of them.
Right.
I mean, I vote because my ancestors and my elders, fought for me to have that right, so I vote, but I'm always voting for the lesser of two evils.
That's right.
I don't recall ever really loving a politician ever in my 53 years of living. I mean, from 18 to 53. So it wasn't really something I was looking to do. So Seth Copperdale was interested in Lisa, so you have to ask him why he wanted me to be his running mate. So they approached me, initially his campaign manager, and I turned them down. Not because I'm like somebody, but I just don't want to be in politics.
Right, sure.
That's not my thing. The camera is my lover and my friend and my husband. I like to keep a bit of space between me and people because that's kind of my strong point. Some people like people, others like computers, others like cameras. Some people like stage and they like to dance. I like the camera.
That's right.
So I never wanted to kind of get out there and stomp, on the campaign trail and canvas and talk to strangers I don't know. I mean, I do a bit of that as a professional if I go to speak at a college or I'm going to speak at a career day, but it's self-contained. I know why I'm there. I know the audience, and I'm a little bit more comfortable. So I'm not that comfortable really trying to be in the streets convincing folks vote for me for these reasons because I don't like to be a salesperson. I left sales for a reason.
That's
right.
So I don't really like to ask people to do something for me and try to prove that you should be doing something for me, especially something as private as your vote. So I really wasn't interested in doing it. But after several conversations, and Seth came to Newark up in the hood on Lyons Avenue over here. Dunkin' Donuts on Lyons Avenue. Y'all want to meet? Come to the hood over here on Lyons Avenue at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
So we had a conversation, and I really didn't want to join the campaign when I found out he was a pastor because I'm not even a Christian.
Okay.
I'm not a Christian because I don't want to be a liar.
Right.
I'm going to have premarital sex. I've done it already. I will lie to a cop if the cop says, well, you were speeding. No, I was not. I'm going to lie to a child. If they're playing the drums and they sound terrible, I'm going to lie to the child and say, you sound great. And so I don't believe in sins. You can't weigh sins.
Right.
Either you lie or you don't. You can't say little white lie because really then you can say little black lie. If you're a Christian, you should never lie.
That's right.
I'm not going to do all of the commandments. I try not to. I try to be kind and share and all the basics, but I'm going to lie and I'm going to have premarital sex. Not often. I don't get crazy with it, but I have my little man and I don't want to be married to anybody. So like, I'm not really a person that wants to be a Christian. I've been baptized years ago, left the church, so I know a little bit about the Bible and all that. So I didn't want to be with a pastor judging me and I curse and, no. So, he was like, no, but it's not, I accept people for who they are. So he was trying to convince me of that when we met. So he seemed like nice enough, but I'm like, nah, dude, we ain't doing that. So after the meeting, we ended up, they invited me to the church, which of course it's not a disease to me. I go to church, I'll go for a little, praise dancing event.
Right.
I love good free events.
Yeah, right. Always fun.
I want to be a member. So I went to the church and he has a lot of stuff going on. He has a home for young women who have aged out of the foster care system. He started a homeless shelter for men who've been in the military.
Right.
I physically saw some things he had been doing for years.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, let me think about this because, I like people that just do the work, not talk about it, just do the work. If you ever look at my social media platforms, you never see me talk about the things I do. You see me talk about other people, like, hey, Halle Berry, what are you doing? Or you will see me saying, I gave these kids internships. I don't talk about, I might say, hey, I have a film, come and see it. So you never know the things I do in the community because I'm just doing the work. So once I did see the work being done, I strongly considered it, but I was still thinking when my phone's ringing. Oh God, well, moving on.
That's quite all right.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So his campaign manager said, talk to him on the phone after we met. So he said, Lisa, if you think about yourself, you've really been on the front line of social justice for many years. I never saw myself as that person. I never saw myself as a person that is a social justice advocate. I just kind of always did it, but didn't think of the words, because when I see people that I consider like activists, they're going down to, Ferguson, and they're marching with signs, and they're pumping their fists. Like, I ain't going nowhere and pumping no fists nowhere.
Right.
I grew up in a violent neighborhood. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Not all areas of Newark are violent, but where I lived was. And I don't want to throw myself in the middle of violence. Not the people who are out there marching, but the cops could shoot you in the back.
Sure.
I've seen videos of people in the 60s getting dragged and hosed and bitten by dogs. So, like, I don't want to be in those kind of environments. So I never did that kind of activism. But when he said, you've done many shows about things that are about marginalized people, education, crime, decarceration, LGBTQ. He read every, blog I've ever written. He said, you talk about rape culture in America. I'm like, yeah, I do those things. I'm so used to myself, I don't see myself that way. So once he saw that he was telling me more about me than I knew about myself, then I thought, this guy really means it. And so that's what made me decide to join the campaign, because I felt like it's bigger than the election. It's social justice. It's about leadership. So I didn't join the campaign to necessarily win. Of course you want to win. Of course we're running to win. But I didn't join the campaign only to win, because suppose you lose. If you lose, that's why I don't like politicians. If you lose, therefore you don't have a platform.
Good point.
If you lose, the lights go off, it's over.
Right.
Well, not upset then, because we were doing it before we became politicians anyway.
So I love all that. I love everything you just said, especially your honesty about you not being a Christian and being hesitant about dealing with him at all because he's a Christian, and because of the hypocrisy involved in the faith. Us being two black Christians ourselves, we have a hard time being Pan-Africanist, black liberation Christians, talking about black issues and politics. I served in youth ministry for years, and people don't talk to me to this day because, they can't deal with these issues that we talk about, because they think that all they're supposed to do is pray and Jesus is going to fix it. And we all know that's not how it works. But what I wanted to say was that I love the fact that there wasn't this between you and Seth and you joining this campaign. There wasn't this cookie cutter. I felt like, I felt called to do it. You had to be it sounds like you had to be convinced that you should, but it sounds like you also had to be convinced that you were already doing the work. You just didn't know that what you were doing was activism too. And I think that's really important for our listeners, our viewers to understand, because so many people say, well, how can I do this? Or how can I solve this problem? Or what can I do? And we say all the time, everybody's not going to protest.
That's true.
Right.
Everybody's not going to get involved in politics. Everybody's not going to, but we all have a part to play.
Right.
And I think that your story is a great example of that.
For years, my voice was my activism. My voice is my activism, but I didn't see myself as an activist because the picture of activism is what you just said. It's always people in the streets and screaming and pumping fists and marching and getting on buses. Well, that's true, and I love people like that because I'm too afraid to do it. So, as they say, God bless. But for me, I have a voice that's a strong voice, and for those who love or hate it, it doesn't matter. It's a strong voice. So, not
That's
until this campaign did I begin to call myself an activist. I'm a social justice advocate because I was forced to look back on all of the things I've done, appearances, things I've done in the community, physically done, and people who I've touched, young people especially. I love young people. And so that's what I'm now branding myself as. But it's my voice and my activism. But my thing is that we have to, you can't like get into your head with that kind of thing either. You can't start thinking, I don't want to be, I'm an activist and I'm the lieutenant governor.
Right.
I'm just Lisa doing the work. So this is kind of like in my steps. So in fact, I was actually called. They said you were called.
Right.
Literally called. And called to say yes. Something said to say yes. So I don't have any regrets. And people are asking me things like, election day's over tomorrow. When it's over, what are you going to be doing? Like, y'all forgot about me before I was a candidate. I'm going to be doing the same thing I've been doing.
That's right.
Activism. I have projects on that. We can talk about that later. But anyway, yes, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Whether I want to, and I'm going to be the sole non-traditional lieutenant governor.
Now, what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Yes, explain that. You have to explain.
I'm a black woman. I got to keep stuff in the pot. If I win, I'm still going to be producing documentaries. I'm still going to be making appearances on shows. I'm still going to have my voice as activism, although I'll be the lieutenant governor. And I'll tell you right now, if Seth Copperdale or anybody wants me to leave that other life, to be in that life, because I already said this is the life I live. Right. I will leave the office and I will turn that down.
Well, for those of our audience who have just joined us, we are here with Miss Lisa Durden, Green Party candidate for lieutenant governor. The election is tomorrow, and especially we have a lot of people, Lisa, that's watching from New Jersey. I personally, when I knew that you was coming on, I personally reached out to a lot of family and friends who are in the state who can vote, and invited them to watch this stream. Now we're going to get into some policy, and so being from Camden, I live in Camden and Newark, so I'm kind of familiar with a lot of the problems that are faced in these urban areas. But let me deal with Camden, because Camden is a special kind of messed up, as you know.
Yeah.
What is your vision for the state of New Jersey in these urban areas? What is your vision?
Well, Camden is no different than Newark and parts of Jersey City. I mean, most inner cities, they call them more urban centers,
yes,
have similar kinds of cultures. It's called poverty. So one of the catchphrases or our motto is the last are first. That's one of the things that attracted me to the campaign. The last are first. I have never, ever heard any politician run for any office that ever spoke anywhere that I was.
Right.
And I've covered many, political events as a press person that said the last are first. It was always the middle class, and I would always be standing there going, well, about me, because I'm poor.
Right, that's right.
A lot of blacks don't like to say that they're poor. That's a problem.
Oh.
What's interesting is, let me rephrase it. It's such a bad word to them that they don't want me to call myself poor. I've said to black people, I don't get this from whites, I get it from blacks. And I've said, oh yeah, I can't go to that because I'm poor. No, you're not poor. It becomes an argument about what I just said I was.
Right.
Because we live in a world where if you're called poor, it has all of these connotations.
Right.
And you're all of these bad things. And we all want to live in la la land as if we're something we're not.
Oh, well,
called poor years ago, the word poor was not a curse. You weren't.
Mm-hmm.
People just said they were poor. Today, you can't call your own self poor around black people.
That's right.
No, let's call them poor.
Mm-hmm.
But you are poor. If you look at the definition of poor, it's not poverty stricken. It's not indigent.
That's right.
It's poor.
Right.
It's not even the working poor, because the working poor means you don't earn a living wage.
Exactly.
Poor is higher than working poor. So you have poor, working poor, poverty stricken, and indigent. So poor means you can own a house and be poor. You can own a house and live in a poor neighborhood. I own a house in a poor neighborhood. So you can't afford to live at a higher, what you call a normal quality of life based on what you would call normal standards in America. So what we want to do is make sure those people who are last, like myself, poor folks, earn not a living wage, because $15 an hour really isn't a living wage. People want to scream that, and it's not any money.
Right.
But
Right. That's right.
Let me just go mathematical for you. If you earn $15 an hour, and I'm not going to do all the math, but you do your 40 hours a week math. But you want an apartment in most of these inner cities, you can't even get a one-bedroom for under $1,300.
That is true.
That is absolutely true.
I don't mean in the hood and the projects. I'm saying I'm saying living good. I'm not saying fancy. Just a working class neighborhood. So a one-bedroom in a working class neighborhood will cost you about $1,400 Newark, Camden, Jersey City. So you add that up. If you're talking about $1,400 a month for a one-bedroom, and the landlord wants you to make 40 times the rent for your yearly income. That's the number that they work with. 40 times the rent. So 40 times $1,400. That's what, 40-something thousand a year?
Wow.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's $15 an hour, 40-something thousand a year?
Not even close.
So people stop arguing about that dollar amount. It's not any money. But if you start with $15 an hour, and then you get 2 or 3 incremental raises, you might be at 20-something.
Right.
But if you start at 8 and change, you have a long way to get to $25 an hour.
Wow.
So like fixing those things. Things as simple as New Jersey Medicare for all.
Right.
Okay, if you are a small business, and we have to know that most of America is run by small businesses. The breadth of America is small business owners, not the top 1% or the top 2%. America goes around by small business owners. The definition of small business could be $5 million or $50,000 a year, or in between. So if you are a small business, and you got a good barber shop, and you've got like a couple of little pizzerias and a couple of locations, whatever you do,
right,
and a little dollar store on the corner, and you hire employees. If you have to hire employees at $15 an hour, plus if they make 40 hours a week, do 40 hours a week, if they do healthcare, you can't afford that. So if we take that off the table, if all employers don't have to worry about that, they might be a bit more generous to give you $15 an hour.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't have to pay for that insurance in that big lump sum. Because most employers, the poor ones or the rich ones, pay 85% of their medical insurance is what they pay, and you pay about a good 15-17%.
Right.
Wow.
So that's a big undertaking. So we're going to fix that with healthcare. So if we get people to have New Jersey Family Care for All, New Jersey Medicare for All, that fixes a lot of things, right? So that fixes the $15 an hour minimum wage.
That's right.
That even fixes municipalities, like let's say education.
Right.
In the hood, we don't have good education. I went to Newark, I know. I went to school in Newark, I know. So how is that going to fix that? If the municipalities, like the county, the city, and the state, that budget line is about a good 19% of the budget is in private medical healthcare insurance with private companies. They take that off the budget, and we take care of that as the state. Then that money can go back in a budget line to pick up somewhere around education. So now the homeowners are happy, because all of the taxes you pay for your home, property taxes, those things go to pay for health insurance for municipal workers.
Wow.
Firefighters, police officers, teachers. It's really simple math. And so that single payer Medicare for all will fix a lot of things. It'll fix education. It'll fix the minimum wage. It'll fix, property taxes. It'll fix a lot of things. So now, if your property taxes don't go up every year or so often, then you can be a little nicer to the tenant.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
Right.
That's true.
I'm a landlord. I struggle not raising my rent every year. And I force myself to do it every other year so I can show my appreciation, but it breaks my back financially. But if I knew that my taxes were going to go, my property tax was going to go down, I'd be like, oh, y'all can stay as long as you want. Woo woo.
Right.
I cannot afford not to raise my rent, because my taxes go up. I can't. So that single payer Medicare for all will fix a lot of things in the state of New Jersey.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Ms. Durden about also, and I'm glad you brought up education, and that's a terrific plan, and I hope that our viewers in New Jersey are listening to this. One of the things is you hear this debate between charter schools and public schools, and so where are you in that debate?
Well, I am a little prejudiced because I'm a public school girl. I went to public school all my life. I went to a private college. It's really weird, Seton Hall University. So I'm not against charter schools. So, however, I'm not really liking that businesses own charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not liking that the rigor that the teachers have to go through to be teachers in charter schools is not the same as the traditional public schools.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have the same standard by which you hire these teachers. And then I'm not liking that they get to be selective in the students they select. And then by September, they can put them out, but they've gotten that money already. And a lot of times they do that.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Okay, they get that money because, they take the money from the public schools.
That's right.
That $13,000 per student, whatever the number happens to be, whatever, $33,000, I don't know the exact number. And so they put it over there. The school gets the money, and if this child acts a fool or whatever, you put them out. I'm not liking that they don't have an IFP for people who are autistic or any of that. They don't have that in those charter schools.
Now, what is the IFP?
Like these students who are differently abled,
Okay.
they might have autism or something like that, and they need like some independent person to be with them throughout the day and those kind of things. Those charter schools can't accommodate that.
Wow.
I don't like that the charter schools, not all, but many of them don't have any kind of activities for students like sports, let's say the high school ones.
Right.
Right.
Some of them are getting sports a little bit now, but most of them in Newark, if you go to a high school in Newark that's a charter school and you want to play football, you got to leave that school and go to your local public school. You can be on the team there. Who's going to leave their school, get on a bus?
Right.
The school and the next school that's your neighborhood school, you're not going to go to the practice. Right. You're not going to be in the debate team. You're not going to run track. You're not going to do those things. And some of them are getting some activities, but nothing like traditional high schools. So I want to say that, in the beginning of this whole charter school thing, they were supposed to be a model for the traditional public schools to say, take a look, and here's what you can do to apply the gold standard for how to give students a good education. But what it's turned into is, it's turned into like this kind of racist thing where, racism where they have co-locations in the building.
Right.
The charter schools on the top floor with air conditioner. A lot of the teachers are white, and they're teaching black students. Yeah. Not all, but a lot of them are white. They don't have diversity. And then it's this thing where us versus them. This kid sees the charter school kid being treated better than me. Then they don't feel good about themselves. They feel angry. I don't like what that all says.
Right.
Is there an easy fix for it? No. So here's what I feel about that. As the lieutenant governor, working with Seth Copperdale, we're going to make sure that traditional public schools are strong.
And how would you do that?
Because we're going to put more money back into the public school systems when we fix the healthcare system.
So what do you
being freed up from the healthcare that you pay with your property taxes?
Right.
That you no longer have to pay into that. We can distribute that money to make sure that we make sure we get rid of ineffective teachers. We make sure we keep effective teachers. We make sure we do professional development. You've been in for 20. You don't just let a person just sit there and rot. You give them training.
Right.
In America, they train us all the time. So you just can't let a teacher be there for 20 years and then say you're going to fire them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So technology changes and those things. So that we're going to apply those things. I mean, even in the public schools, students come home with notebooks in public schools. They have ditto sheets.
Really?
Wow.
They don't bring books home.
Yeah.
And the excuse is, the teacher said we can't bring the history book home because they don't want us to destroy it or lose it. But
that is so true. It's funny, Ms. Durden, but my daughter, she worked in the Camden Public Board of Education in the schools, and she told me she was working in Camden High, and she told me how she would go in the basement as a teacher and see like laptops and all kind of. They were learning out of books, out of school books that were there when I was there over 30-some years ago.
Yeah.
Outdated,
Yeah.
editions of books. Like, really? Yeah. So.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so because although I don't have children, I never wanted to have children, but I've been a child.
That's right.
And I got educated, and I'm here to tell you, I'm gonna be one of those Joan Rivers old ladies where I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna be relevant, and when I go to the senior citizens home, I'm gonna be right there naked when you come to visit me to wash me. I'm naked. I want to eat my lunch and getting my medicine and read with or without meals. Like I want people to read and to comprehend so that they can take care of us. Not just, I mean, I'm making a joke about the senior citizens, but
no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you do, you can be a dancer, a lawyer. It doesn't matter what you do, but you have to be able to read and comprehend.
Exactly.
I want that for all people's children, all kids, all young people. So we need to fix the educational system to make sure that the traditional public schools are not just closing because that's the thing of the month. I think, if I'm not misspeaking, that in New Orleans, their whole system went to traditional a charter school system.
Yes.
I could not believe that
they
there
closed.
are no more.
Yeah.
And I kind of want a board of education as our checks and balances to make sure that the superintendent is not your boss.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
You're that person's boss.
Exactly.
I don't like that a private charter school has nobody watching them.
I mean, it's
their total autonomy.
Right.
That's right.
Right. I mean, this whole conversation we've had in the progressive circles the past year since Bernie Sanders' candidacy, people have been screaming and yelling for Medicare for all, but that's all they've done.
That's all they've done.
I mean,
that's right.
and this is a criticism I have of so many people. It's fine that you want something, but you have to explain to people why this is a good idea. You can't just, and this is I think part of the problem that has existed with the Green Party and other third parties for a very long time.
Yeah.
That they have good ideas, but they put them out there and they assume that everybody understands that it's a good idea and why it's a good idea and why it's a good idea for them. But you cannot assume that everyone understands how interconnected something like healthcare is to every part of their life. And the way you explained how we save money on so many different levels by providing Medicare for all. I don't understand why. Well, yes, I do understand, because they're politicians and they practice lying to people.
Right. They want to be politicians.
That's right.
Even these people who are middle class people who think you're middle class, really you're heading toward poverty.
Yeah.
It's getting ugly for everybody. But even the so-called middle class, I was once. I mean, I don't know if you would have called me, but when I was working in sales, my last job was in pharmaceutical sales. So I mean, about 24 years ago, I was making about $60,000 a year. I was 28. That's not bad for a little black girl from Newark. And we had, good insurance. That's when the whole HMO thing first started coming out.
Right.
And so, I thought I had good insurance, but when I had surgery, I had an ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy in my tubes. I had surgery. Woke up the next day, everybody passing by my room. Hey, girl. Looking at my nose, looking at me. 45,000 people came by, and when the bill came, they all billed me. Doctors, nurses, everybody. I don't even know who you were.
Right.
Bill. Now, after the insurance paid, I still had a copay of $5,000. So you don't have good insurance.
That's right.
Okay. I just went to a fundraiser the other day of a man who has cancer. He has colon cancer. Okay, this is America. This is like just the other night. So this man has colon cancer. He worked all of his life. He never made a great salary. Latino man, never made a great salary. And now that he has a long-term chronic illness that might be fatal, but we're going to see, he's been getting chemo, but he can't afford the surgery and the procedures he needs. They have to do a fundraiser. The fundraiser didn't raise millions of dollars. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars for this man. So this is probably going to die, for all we know, when he doesn't have to. We can extend a person's life.
That's right. That's right.
So like that. And so when I left corporate America also, on the healthcare tip, I've had every program known to man. When I was in corporate, I had good healthcare and found out it wasn't good. When I left corporate America, I didn't have any kind of healthcare for many years, about 20 years. when I started my production company, and then I needed another surgery. I had fibroid tumors. I'm bleeding all over the place. I can't work. I don't want to bleed on your couch. Bleed on the bus.
Right.
So I had to get surgery. So I had to apply for charity care. So I've had charity care, but that's not like, going to the doctor for checkups and doing preventative things. It's only when you have an emergency. So I've had charity care. Now I have New Jersey Family Care. But again, people are arguing, oh, we don't need New Jersey Medicare for all. We have Medicare, not in this form.
Right, that's right.
In the form of Medicare we have now, Medicare is for old people. So, and Medicaid is for poor people. So we're saying Medicare, meaning care, so you don't have to do these applications and all of that and qualifying.
Right,
and then the doctor they don't take the insurance. That's not the form we're talking about. Because in the form it is now, I have NJ Family Care. I couldn't go to a gynecologist because she didn't take my Medicaid card. In New Jersey, when we do New Jersey Medicaid, NJ Medicare for all, it will be a different thing.
That's right.
That's right.
So that will get rid of the need for all of these fees and these gougers or these procedures. Like there's certain procedures, like somebody has some kind of a kidney thing where they get a shot. The kidney thing that they shoot for something with the kidney. I think it's like $100,000 or something crazy.
Ooh.
Lord have mercy.
And they make this medication in Mexico. It's like $50 there.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So like this is nothing but a cesspool for theft.
Right.
Exactly what it is.
Right.
And price gouging and theft.
Yeah.
When you get the private middleman out of the picture, then we move on.
And we can focus on things other than whether we're going to go bankrupt because we need surgery. And that also puts more money in the pockets of every American. And what do people do? What do poor people do when we have more money? We spend it. Why?
That's it.
Because we got to eat.
So also, too, it makes you able to work. After I got my surgery, when I had my myomectomy, that was over 12 years ago. For 12 years, I've been working and paying my bills and buying when I'm out working. I'm buying at restaurants. I'm eating food. I put gas in my car. I'm patronizing small businesses. I pay my taxes. So these are the things you do. If I was not able to do that, I would be disabled.
That's right.
And disabled doesn't mean a wheelchair.
Right. Exactly.
That's true.
Don't you, like, people feel like, well, no, who's paying? We all gonna pay for it. So if we're gonna pay for it with our taxes, so that we all are good. So, like, if you feel it's just okay for you to be good until you're not. See, people love that whole me kind of mentality.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'm good and I got it going on and I'm good until you're not good.
Right. Exactly.
And then you're wondering who's going to help me.
Exactly.
And listen, even when I had good health care, we know opticals and dental, you don't get 100%. See this tooth right here?
Right.
Listen, I have a broken crown that I'm still just like, nope, until it starts to keep me up at night. I'm not.
That's right.
Because even with good health care, they have, like, I have gum disease now because for 20 years I didn't have any dental insurance. So I didn't go get my checkups for 20 years. I didn't clean for 20 years.
Right.
When I began to start going, I discovered, I have gum disease.
Right.
Wow.
Now that's what this tooth is separating from the other tooth. And now that I have gum disease, they've got to approve the deep cleanings.
Right. That's right.
The 4 regions. And they only approve the 2 regions and not the other 2 regions. So I guess the tooth will fall out over here and I'll have teeth over there. So even these good medical insurances insurance that people have, you don't get great dental. I never had great dental.
Right.
I hear.
Right.
And you certainly don't get great vision.
If I wanted an implant, they're going to say, no, we don't do implants because that's cosmetic. But if you don't feel that spot, your teeth are going to start shifting. What are you talking about? It's
Right.
So like opticals, when I go get my glasses, I got to go to the welfare side. Your card only pays for those glasses over there on that rack, the $25 rack.
That's
right. Yeah.
The welfare rack. I can't get glasses that I want. I got to get glasses that NJ Family Care pays.
Wow.
As you see, I'm not a fancy chick. I mean, really, I'm not. So, like, so there's all these limitations, and and then when you go somewhere, they treat you like you're a welfare recipient.
Exactly.
We don't take Medicaid, and they say it all loud, like, come on, boo.
Right.
Like they're not broke too. So
Well, look.
There's this hierarchy, us versus them mentality.
Exactly.
It's a problem.
You know, we got a couple of more minutes left, but I want to. There was a story, Lisa, that came up in your city of Newark, and it related about the unemployment rate amongst black males and how only 17% of a lot of the development jobs, construction and everything, is going to Newark residents, and that the rest are going to non-residents. And you see this in Camden. You see we're dealing with in New Jersey,
Washington D.C.
Yeah, Washington D.C. You're seeing a lot of a consistent high unemployment amongst black males. What would you think is a good plan to address that?
The first plan is vote green.
That's it.
Durden for governor and lieutenant governor.
There you go.
Because we just talking about the debates alone. For us to make it in the main television debates, the state requires us to raise $450,000.
There you go for democracy, right?
Wow.
Why? Because you want to hide us from the population. So we couldn't raise that money. So that's the bad part. But the good part is we don't owe anybody anything.
Right. That's
so the
right.
first order of business is stop voting for those people because they owe people.
Say that again.
Oh.
There you go.
They all of them. All of them. Sharp James, Raz Baraka, Governor McGreevy. I mean, maybe, somebody as rich as, Corzine didn't owe anybody, but he wanted power. He didn't need the money. So there's always some kind of angle because I'm like, why does a rich person want to be a politician? You don't even he never even took a salary. So what? They want the power.
Right.
So they want to hook up cronies and all that. I can't speak for the Sharp Jameses, but the point is, even, I don't think he's as rich as Corzine, but even those Sharp Jameses and those Cory Bookers, they still had to have fundraisers, $2,000 a plate, and people giving $20,000 in their campaign. They owe them.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
so
right.
That's right. Somebody's uncle, somebody's cousin, somebody's brother, somebody's father. You owe them. So when you got to pay the piper. So when you get in office, you've got to give these contracts out and all that. Now, when you're giving out these contracts to these people who are not black and brown folks, they're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you.
There you go.
And then they're not going to give that person a contract. So when we get into office, we're going to fix that. We're going to even the playing field. We're going to make it fair for all people to be able to get a contract, for all people to get a job, for all people to be able to bid on things. And it's not some under the table stuff because we owe nobody nothing.
There you go. That's right.
And furthermore, these career politicians who've been around a long time. My uncle was a politician. He's a politician. I believe in term limits.
That's
we don't
right.
have term limits in New Jersey except for the governor, but we don't have term limits for the mayor and other things. I would give myself a term limit. I mean, governors have a term limit, but if they did not, I would not want to be in more than two terms. But I'm not a career politician. I have a life before being a politician.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
I don't need this for my living. But if you have a legacy with all these politicians and you are a politician too, that's your legacy. So that's another problem. So we have to kind of really bust up this whole duopoly thing, the Democrats and Republicans. We've got to bust up the way we do politics as usual.
That's right.
Right.
But you know what? It's not going to happen unless you change the mindset. There are people that are saying, "Well, you're not going to win because you just told me you're not going to vote for me." When you just said to me, "You're not going to win," you've confirmed you're not going to vote for me. Because,
Right.
man, if you vote for me, we win.
Right.
You just answered my next question. That was perfect.
61% of the registered voters in the last gubernatorial election did not even leave their couch. They didn't even vote.
Yep.
Wow.
That means Krispy Kreme won with 39% of the vote.
Just like Trump.
Wow. I'm so glad to know that we're not the only ones who call him
Me too.
Krispy Kreme.
Right. Yeah, we call him Krispy Kreme too.
Well, that's the sad part. So some of this stuff is going to be hard to change because you got to change your mindset.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
Some
right.
things are automatic and very easy. Pull the trigger on the healthcare thing.
Right.
But that mindset to keep voting for those people who give out these contracts, mayors and freeholders in your county. We have people that have been freeholder for many, many years in the same. Don't go nowhere. You just pull the line A all the way. People, you can bullet vote.
That's right.
You can go into the booth and vote for one person and walk down.
That's
I
right.
vote for 2 or 3 people and walk down. It depends on who's on the line.
Right.
I don't vote line A. I've voted independent many times. Not just because I'm Green Party. I voted for Lenore Fulani back in 1989 when she ran for president.
Oh, I did too. That's right. I remember that.
So I've been voting outside of party because I have a brain. and y'all ain't my daddy.
Wow.
Wow. See, this is why. Before we started the interview, we told Miss Durden that the interview would be about 30, 45 minutes long, maybe a little longer, because we like a good conversation. Because, see, we understand that when politicians get on anybody's media and they do these alleged debates and they answer these so-called questions, all they do is give people sound bites, talking points, the rehearsed party line. We have maintained here in Luqman Nation that we're not going to tell you who to vote for, but damn it, vote with some intelligence. Use the information and vote with knowledge, not just based, down a party line, not just because of a lesser of two evils.
Or because your pastor tells you to.
Or Lord Jesus. Not because your But you can't get that. You can't get those kinds of real, these kinds of real conversations from a lot of mainstream media, and you're not going to get them from anybody who is an establishment Democrat. You're not going to get them from anybody who's an establishment Republican. Like we have said before, there are some state level young black progressive Democrats that we're going to support, and some white ones too, because of their policies. But trust me, if they jump ship, we'd be even happier.
That's true.
But we support the policies. But we can't learn about the policies if we don't have these honest conversations.
That's
and
true.
I'm really sad that the hour is almost over. And that just means and that just means we're going to have Miss Durden back. Not just
when I come back, I will have turned into a pumpkin. Cinderella has to run home because she's the glass slippers behind her. She's turning into a pumpkin. So when you see me next time, I'll either be on the other side of not being the lieutenant governor, or I'll be on the other side of being lieutenant governor. But either way, after tomorrow, I'll be back in my other life.
And Ms. Durden, before you go, we're going to concede the rest of the time to you. What else? You have the last words to the audience, and kind of fill us in on what you got on, the irons that you got in the fire right now, besides lieutenant governor.
Right. So when everything is over on November 7th, the next day I'm going to do a Facebook Live, and it's going to be 3 topics.
Okay.
How do I feel about boom, whatever the ending is, the results? What's the first thing I'm going to do after the election, and what's next for me? So I'll let the other 2 stay a mystery. But what's next for me is, while I've been running, I've been holding up my media world. So I'm developing a docuseries about a differently able group of people. And so I'm producing it with the lady who did the show. Did you see the Lifetime? Was it Lifetime? No. Am I getting old? No, TV One show about Bobby Christina.
Yeah, we did see that.
Yes, we did see that.
So that's my producing partner, Tracy Baker Simmons.
Okay.
Fabulous.
So that's brewing. And then I'm going to, of course, go and do more appearances on television. They don't tend to invite black folks when we're running for office, but they claim they can invite the politicians, but they've been doing it with white politicians. Whatever. So I'll be going back on those shows to do commentary, and then I'll be producing a documentary. So that's kind of what's next.
I mean, if you could just go back on Tucker Carlson again, that would just make my life.
Oh, yeah, I'm serious.
We watched that again today.
When I said, you'll be calling me back in a month, they called me back in 3 weeks.
Oh, see?
Yeah, they did. But not Tucker Carlson show. I had gone on a few of the Fox shows, the Kelly Files, Fox and Friends, and Tucker Carlson. So another show wasn't his. About 3 weeks after the Tucker Carlson appearance, they invited me to come on another show to be on a panel to talk about, how do we think that the president is doing. So I'm sure I would have been the one lonely person on the side saying he sucks, and the other conservatives were saying he's great. Now, I don't mind doing that, but 3 weeks after I got death threats.
Wow.
Right.
So I'm not trying to kill myself, commit suicide by way of murder.
Right.
And they did, Ms. Durden, too.
I would go again, but that was too close.
Right.
And I gotta say that I see we saw the video this morning where they pulled out the black conservative out their hat to debate you, around the Dallas shootings that happened. And once again, you know, we were just having a ball.
Kevin Jackson.
Right, that's his
Yes,
name. That's his name.
yes.
And you know, and when you was on News One, I really love your honesty because you were right when you told them. You said, look, Janine Piero, yeah, Piero. All of those women on Fox News and everywhere else, they can point their fingers, they can do this, and they can yell, and they're empowering. But then you get a black woman on there doing the same thing,
Oh my,
and then
she's
it's a problem.
aggressive.
Wait, not even doing the same thing. Janine Pirro will curse you out.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's right.
She calls you names. I never called Tucker Carlson one name.
That's right.
I didn't do half the thing. Nancy Grace, I'ma tell you something right here. She bunks her eyes and she gets close to the kid. And oh, she's amazing and intelligent. I'm an English black woman. But what was sad about that was not that white said that about me, because I mean I'm used to that. But when blacks did it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I asked the blacks who knew me, and I could physically talk to them, and said, so let me ask you the question. I said, so in the 6 minutes, did you hear Tucker Carlson call me a Nazi?
Yeah, he sure did.
Called me demented.
Yep.
Called me racist, and he called me crazy. I said this to a lady that I work with at a film festival. She's the founder of the film festival, the Real Sisters of the African Diaspora. Dashiki wearing black person. And I asked her when she approached me about it, I said, but did you see? She said, but when you answered the question, you didn't do it normal. He was talking normal.
Oh, come on.
I said, so did you? I said, there was nothing normal about the whole conversation before my mouth opened. That they're even having the conversation. I came to chop their asses up.
That's right.
I said, well, let me ask you. You are worrying about me doing something to this man. And he has a staff there. I'm smart as hell. I'm wearing an earpiece. I wrote my talking points. I did research. He has a staff helping him in that 6 minutes, talking to him about what to say next.
That's right.
I was on Fox and the host. There's no staff for Lisa Durden when I'm the guest. I'm in their building.
Right. Took them on and won.
That's right.
Fabulously.
I said, so now, let me ask you. I said, did you see and hear what he called me? She said, no. I said, you were blinded by my approach, and that makes you a sick person.
Wow.
You were so blinded by the disgust you had for me. You were so blinded by the embarrassment you felt for me that you didn't know that you didn't even have any empathy for this man calling me a Nazi. He's calling me a mass murderer. I killed a roach, but there's probably as much death as I've done a roach. I said, so do you understand you have a lot of work to do, sister? You're not a sister. You got much work to do. Because it doesn't matter if you don't like how I said it.
That's right.
Because I'm Lisa Durden. You are not Lisa Durden. But what I said was factual.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Every letter.
And I've corrected people when they said, oh, you were giving your opinions. No, I do go on these shows and give my opinion about things, but that was not my opinion.
Right.
Those things, they were all factual things. I marched with data. I marched with pop culture when I talked about how, he said, well, suppose we have racism every day. I said, you do have racism every day. And I gave a few examples of that. I said, how about, it took 11 years to get a black bachelorette?
You sure did. Yes, right.
That's pop culture, bitches.
That's right.
Yep.
I talked about how you have all these movies with all white casts, all white Oscars. Like, what are you talking about, boo?
Yep.
So I'm not talking about Lisa's opinion. Those were facts. So that was the most hurtful. Black people's opinion about me. Which is fine, but in a manner in which you judged it as if I harmed him.
Right.
We got a lot of work to do.
We do.
Well, we're at the end of our time. Yep. But
that's okay. We're used to being overtime.
Hey, but look, tomorrow is the election day, and we at Luqman Nation, if you're eligible to vote in New Jersey, we endorse the ticket of Seth Caperdale and Lieutenant and Lisa Durder.
We absolutely do. I appreciate it. And not only do we endorse their ticket for the election tomorrow, we endorse the work that they've both been doing before the election.
That's right.
And we are endorsing and are excited to partner with them in whatever work they're going to do afterward. Because
I would like to keep connected. Let's stay connected. So email me your well, I think in my email, all my information is on there. My cell number, all that's there.
Oh, trust me.
So,
right here.
I will stalk you like it was the best date in my life.
You're my stalker. Okay. having me.
All right, thank you,
Thank you
Miss
so
Durden.
much for joining us. Hey, you all, share this video. Find us on YouTube. We will provide a link to Lisa Durden's page where you can still contribute to the Caperdale Durden campaign. It's not too late. Find us on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram and Facebook. Look for Luqman Nation, LuqmanNation. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight.
Good luck.
Be really good to each other. Peace.
Bye-bye.